I don't really know what this is gonna be. I don't really know what this series is gonna involve, but like pretty much everything on this channel, we're just gonna figure it out as we go. But right now it's currently 8:13 in the morning, Monday, December 8th, and I am at work right now. About to go clock in like 20 minutes. But I just wanted to sit down in front of the camera or turn the camera on and sort of use this time to do something. It's probably going to be different every time. Um, but I have a lot of downtime at work. I have this period where I get to work pretty early, and so I have like a 30-minute chunk where right now I'm utilizing this time to journal and I'm utilizing this time to read, just relax, meditate, watch YouTube before work. Um, and then I have another like 45-minute period during lunch where I just sort of watch YouTube and eat my food. And then sometimes I'll take a nap. But, I feel like I have a lot of time that I can utilize. And one of the goals that I've been writing down is to get back into creating videos. Just because, it's what I like to do. It's documenting, sort of being able to vent my mind, being able to talk about what I want to talk about on here. So yeah, that's what I want to get back into. There's been a few things going on in my mind lately, um, revolving like purpose. Before we even get into that, the last video I uploaded on this channel, just because like anytime I do like a long sort of break, I want to sort of update update you guys with where I've been, what I've been doing, why I've been gone, blah blah blah. But so yeah, the last video uploaded on this channel was a gym video at like the end of April, and I was watching back those videos recently, and I was thinking, because for a time I only had those gym videos up on the channel, and I had privated all my other videos. But I was going back through and watching a bunch of my old videos, and I was like, you know what? I have all these videos that I make on this channel, and then I privated some because I wanted to go a new direction. But I realized it's all going in one, it's all one thing. It's all one sequence. I shouldn't get so caught up on trying to like reinvent what I want to make and sort of have it all try to align together, but instead like just have it all, not worry about the direction, but still to have a direction, but just let each thing sort of be its own thing, but not try to like categorize it all, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't make sense, but so I decided to unprivate a bunch of my videos and sort of like make the make the titles and make, like the thumbnails all to where it's really just one sequence. You know, all my videos are either on this channel at least are either vlogs, smoke sessions, or something in between. And this is basically a vlog. This is basically a smoke session without the smoke because I'm not going to be smoking before work. But those videos will return on this channel. Um, outside vlogs will also return on this channel. Like I said, it's just going to take me some time to figure out what I want to do. But, it'll all work out. It'll all it'll all make sense in the end. Even now, to look back, I think my first video on this channel was about 3 years ago, like literally like to the day around 3 years ago. Um, And yeah, like if you look at me 3 years ago and you look at me now, not only do I look different, maybe I sound different in the way I talk, maybe I sound different in my articulation and my sort of confidence behind the camera. Um, but I was also living like a completely different life, just 3 years ago, and that can be a whole ramble, to think that 3 years ago I thought that I knew what I was doing to a certain extent. 3 years ago I thought I had lived a lot of life, but man, those 3 years from 2022 to now, I feel like I lived, a whole nother lifetime. So yeah, that's sort of why I want to make these videos, is to get into where I've been the last couple years, to be sort of more personal with my content. Even though I've uploaded, over those sporadically over those last 3 years, I still want to sort of get into depth on different themes, different topics, different things that I've learned, different things that I want to share with the camera. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, all this is just me documenting my existence. All this is just me documenting my experiences in life. And I like, even if it's for nothing other than me being able to go back and see where I was at this point. You know, in 3 years, I'll be able to go back to this point and see where I was at, see what I was talking about, see what I was doing. And, that's really what it's all about for me. Just to be able to sort of look back on memories, look back on different periods in my life and see what I was thinking, where my head was at. But yeah, so that's sort of, wanted to get that out of the way, sort of the introduction for what this might be. And I'll probably do, like, minimal cuts in this video, just because I want my thoughts to be fluid. I want everything to flow. And yeah, um, another thing I wanted to talk about in this video is sort of a topic that's been on my mind a lot. Um, for the most part during this month, I've been trying to journal. I've been trying to meditate, slowly ramping up into meditating. Um, I've been trying to sort of embody more positivity, sort of manifest more positivity. Not that I'm not already, for the most part, a positive person, but I just wanted to, like, really solidify that into a foundation of the way I live. And so I've just been journaling every morning. I mean, not every morning, but I've already done it a few times, and we're on the 8th. So, I'm getting started, is basically what I'm trying to say. And I think that'll be a running theme on these type of videos, in the car, is just how we can improve our lives in little ways. How we can get away from all the distractions in life, how we can improve our state of mind, how we can improve our mental state, because the last I'd say the last 2 years, and like I said, I'm overall a positive person, but I'm not going to fool myself and say I didn't have my moments. I'm not going to fool myself and say, everybody has their moments. But I was going through it, man. You know, I was having a hard time with my mental over the last 2 years. I was having a hard time sort of understanding my place in this world. I was having a hard time living out my purpose. And everyone has peaks and valleys. So I knew that eventually things were going to turn for the better, and I feel like they have at this point. But I've taken a lot from those, from that period of low. And you know, during that time, I realized, like, we're the only ones that can make a better life for ourselves. We're the only ones who can sort of decide that we don't want to keep living the way we're living if we're in a negative state of mind, if we're in a negative, environment. It's really up to us, and it's up to us to decide everything for ourselves. For the most part, you don't even want to worry about what's not in your control. So through that, I learned, or I've realized that journaling is a big part of that, and we'll get into manifesting, but I believe that a big part of manifesting too is to sort of write down your goals. I've noticed a few things over the last couple years, and I've noticed that when I go back and look in my journal, pretty much everything I've written down has become true to an extent. Everything I've written down has manifested its way into my life. So, you could say things, you can think things, but really what you surround yourself with, what you write down, what you speak, speaking to a lesser extent, you can manifest. But I believe writing down and really surrounding yourself and becoming what you want to manifest before you have it is the key to manifesting. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, because to manifest something, you have to embody it. You have to believe that you already have it. And some people think like manifesting is like magic, but it's really not. It's really just like, I don't know. Like, I could get deep because I feel like we already have everything that we need. So to manifest something is to just make apparent what you already have. And it's really as simple as that. It's not magic. It's not like using magic to pull something out of thin air. It's just putting your mind into the position to understand that you already have what you're trying to manifest. And then it'll come to you in the present world. I mean, in like the physical sense, it'll come to you, but you already have it. So back to what I was saying with manifesting and that sort of stuff, journaling. Lately, I've been sort of every morning, I've been trying to express my gratitude to the universe, been trying to express my gratitude towards everything I have in my life. And, it makes a big difference. I've noticed I'm the sort of person who can sort of like notice little things in my own life and sort of like, I feel like now I've been trying to live in the moment more. I've been getting better at living in the moment, so I can sort of realize the little changes that are happening on a day-to-day basis. And I realize that when I journal, when I express gratitude in the morning, on the weekends I'll do it outside in the sun. When I'm at work, I'll do it before I go clock in my car. But I realize that the rest of my day is easy, so much more easy in the sense that I'm not as stressed out. Things don't bother me as much. If I were to look at something in a negative way before, now I just look at it, as something that passes, or I take something positive from it. And that's another thing too with expressing gratitude is I've been trying to take something positive from every single moment in my life. Every single moment in the present too. If something's negative, and this is another thing that I've just learned over time. Anything that's negative, you can take something positive from it. Any negative moment you have in your life, you can take something positive from it. There's always a learning experience in a negative moment. There's always a learning experience in a positive moment. And if you really just focus on that, there's no such thing as a negative moment or a positive moment. Everything's just a learning experience. And so, you know, those are just the apparent immediate benefits so far of journaling, expressing my gratitude to the universe, expressing my gratitude to everything I have. So, I recommend, if you're having a hard time in life, pick up a journal, and and I know, like, it sounds like I'm just literally saying pick up a journal. It's easy. Write down your thoughts. Write down what you're grateful for. But I wish you guys could like understand that for the longest time I hated journaling. For the longest time, like I had two journals before the one I'm using now, and it'd take me like 2 years to do like maybe 100 pages, or like 2 years to fill up a 150-page journal, and here and there, I wouldn't be really into it. Here and there, I'd write down what's on my mind, or there'd be like moments and periods of time where I'd write down things, but it never really stuck. But I feel like this time it's different. I feel like this time this is something that I want to do. I feel like this is something that I don't see as like something that I'm doing. This is part of my life. And that's just another this is an example of what I'm saying of manifesting. This isn't like something I'm adding into my life. This is something that is part of who I am as a person, who wants to improve, as a person who wants to live in harmony with the universe. Part of that is writing down my thoughts. Part of that is having a basis to know myself through my journal. Like that's my written documentary of me is my journal, is a journal. And so where I'm going with that is a journal doesn't just have to be writing down your feelings. It doesn't just have to be today I felt sad. I felt sad because blah blah blah. It doesn't even have to be today I feel grateful. I feel grateful for blah blah blah. All those are good exercises that should be incorporated into your journal, but that's not all a journal has to be. A journal can be drawings. A journal can be music, poems, ideas, pictures. A journal is literally just a physical documentary of your life and your thoughts, a physical documentary of who you are. So you can customize it in every way. You can customize the contents of it. You can customize how it looks. Some people like a real like old school leather journal. Some people just use a notebook. Some people use, some people put like cover on it. But yeah, man. I think for the first part, I'll probably come back during my lunch break and sort of finish off what I want to say. Maybe get into something that I've written down in my journal, because in my journal I've also written down like some things that I want to bring up, some topics that I want to discuss. But yeah, that's sort of been on my mind and what I've wanted to talk about on this camera for a couple weeks. I've been having an itch to get back into making something. So this is that. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there will be more to the video, there will be more. But if not, I hope you guys enjoyed. And whoever's watching this, I thank you for watching. And yeah, hope everyone has a blessed day. All right, I'm currently on my lunch break, and I just wanted to finish the video off, finish my talk off, just with some final thoughts. I was talking about my journal, sort of how I think a journal is important, what you can use your journal for, and my experience with journaling in general. Like I said, even to this day as I'm talking to you about a journal, I'm not a good journaler, I would say. Um, Not that there is really such thing as being a good or bad journaler. It's either you do it or you don't. But I'm just trying to say that, it's a learning experience. It's it's probably not going to click at first. It's probably not going to click for maybe like the first couple years that you journal. You're probably going to think that this is stupid. You're going to be writing down your thoughts. You're going to be like, this shit's gay. I don't understand this. This isn't really what I want to do. This isn't really helping me. I don't see how this is helping me. And I'm saying all this because these were the thoughts that I had. Like, this is the experience that I had when I first started journaling. Like I said, it took me a long time to fill up a journal. But you just got to keep working at it. Like everything else in life, you just got to keep working at it. Because it'll click. And then before you know it, it'll start being part of your day. It'll start being part of your identity. It'll help you de-stress. It'll help you declutter your mind. De-stressing and decluttering your mind is like such a good benefit of journaling. Especially if you're a creative type of person who has lots of thoughts and ideas, person who likes to get things done, likes to work on a million things at once. Journaling is great for that type of person because you can get all your ideas down. Because I know, there's a million ideas that go through my mind a day, and to even be able to get a few of them down, it's great. It's really great. So, yeah, journaling's great. And another thing, just to finish off this video, this little sort of intro video is a book, man. Like, a book is also another great thing to help your mind. It's another great thing to like, I don't know, if you want to get off your phone, if you want to find something to do that's going to help build you up as a person, that's going to help sort of move your path forward as a good human being. Reading is a great thing to do. And it's not even like you don't even have to read like a book like that I would recommend you like this. This book is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's a great book on life, just how to approach life, how to approach people, how to approach pretty much everything that life throws at you, man. Like, this book really changed my life. Like, and I'm not just saying that because it's the thing to say. No, this book literally changed my life. Changed the way I look at things, changed the way I approach things. It's a really good spiritual book, and me saying that might turn off a few people to reading this book, but have an open mind. And what I will say is, if you get this book, maybe don't get this exact one. There's a few different translations, because it's an old book. I'm pretty sure it's like written in Latin or something. But try out a translation. Like, maybe go to a bookstore and read a couple pages, because this is kind of hard to read, to be honest. Like, it's kind of hard to understand what the people are saying, or what the author's saying, just because the way it's translated, it uses like big words that we don't really use in day-to-day language. So I'm probably going to read this book again, maybe by a different translation though. But yeah, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. If I would recommend one book to anybody who's trying to change their life, one book to anybody who's trying to, who's maybe lost spiritually, lost as a person, like with their mental and things like that, I would recommend this book. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Pretty much said everything I need to say. I don't know if there'll be another one of these videos. I'm hoping there will be. I plan on making more. So, yeah, like I said, I got a few things I still want to talk about that I'm not going to talk about in this video. But yeah, stay tuned, you guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.